Hezekiah ruled almost 40 years. Then his son Manasseh became king. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to rule, and he ruled 55 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hephzibah. And Manasseh did what was evil in the sight of Yahweh, the God of his father Hezekiah, and his prophet Isaiah. But he did what was good in the sight of the gods of the land, the gods that Hezekiah had tried to cast out, to destroy. Manasseh caused the high places his father had torn down to be restored. He built altars for Baal, and he set up poles for Asherah, as Ahab of Israel had done, and he worshipped the host of heaven. All these gods he served faithfully. He built altars for the gods in the temple. In Jerusalem, Yahweh had said, "I will put my name." But then he had told Hezekiah, the father of Manasseh, that Jerusalem would be deserted, and his sons would be taken to Babylon to serve as eunuchs in the court of the Babylonian king. Had Yahweh heard this, Hezekiah asked, from the Babylonian gods? But Manasseh believed that Yahweh had heard it from the gods of the land. And if he worshipped the gods of the land, it would not happen in his time any more than it had happened in the time of his father. After that, Manasseh said, "What will be is what will be." In the meantime, he built altars for Baal and for the host of heaven in the temple. And he caused his son to pass through fire, that he might know what was in store for him. He observed the seasons and their wonders, summer and winter, seed time and harvest. And instead of Isaiah or any of the other angry prophets of Yahweh, the jealous one, he consulted the kindly prophets and priests of Baal. All this was wicked in the sight of Yahweh. It provoked him. It enraged him, so Yahweh's prophets said. But Manasseh did not listen to them. He also had made and set an image of Asherah in the temple, concerning which Yahweh had sworn to David and to Solomon his son, saying, "In this house and in Jerusalem my name will remain forever. For I have chosen Judah out of all tribes of Israel, and Judah will not be moved out of the land I have given it. But the people must observe all that I have commanded them, the law my servant Moses gave them, with all the statutes and ordinances added to it." But now the people did not listen, for Manasseh had urged them to return to the gods of the land, and so they had. And the gods were good to them. They had grain and wine, olives and figs, milk and honey, fresh flowing water. Their stomachs were full, their heads were easy, and their hearts were light, all the 55 years Manasseh ruled in Jerusalem. The prophets of Yahweh were not easy. Their hearts were not at all light. They spoke to the people of Yahweh's anger. Because Manasseh, king of Judah, has done these abominable things, his wickedness above all that the Amorites did before him, because he has seduced you to Baal and Asherah and the host of heaven, therefore Yahweh says, who is a jealous God, "Now I am bringing such misfortune on Jerusalem and Judah that anyone who hears of it, both his ears shall tingle. I will judge Jerusalem as I judged Samaria. I will judge Manasseh as I judged Ahab. I will wipe out Jerusalem as a man cleans out a dish he has emptied, wiping it and turning it upside down. I will forget my promises to David and to Solomon and to their descendants. There will be nothing left in the dish. There will be no remnant no survivor, not a scrap, not a trace of you will be left, but I will deliver it into the hand of your enemies. You shall be destroyed by your enemies. You shall become the slaves of those that hate you, because you have done evil to me. You have provoked me to anger. You have been inciting my rage since your fathers came out of Egypt, even until today. Manasseh did not listen. Instead, he had the furious prophets of Yahweh, the jealous one. He had the angry one's raging seers silenced, till there was not one of that God's prophets in all Jerusalem. Yes, Manasseh's sins were recorded with all the rest that he did in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah, written by the priests and prophets of Yahweh. But they did not write what I will tell you, that he ruled for 55 good years, and he died in his bed, his stomach full, his mind easy, and his heart light. For the people of the land had grain and wine, olives and figs, milk and honey, fresh flowing water, and their stomachs were full. Their heads swam sweetly, and their hearts were light as sun-filled air. And the king was buried in the garden of his own house, in the garden of Uzzah, and Ammon his son ruled in his stead.